Hello, and welcome to Opening the Curtain, an interview series of artists in conversation with students. My name is Isabella Hildebrand-Veccia, and I am a sophomore at Notre Dame High School, Belmont. Today, I am interviewing Dan Demers, who is the artistic director of Hillbarn Theatre in Foster City, a director, actor, and alumni of the Sarah Notre Dame Mercy Tri-School Theatre program. Hi, Dan. So how are you?
Hey, Isabella. Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good. That's
That's good.
great. Thank you for having me here today. This is
Yeah,
great.
thank you for coming. So, as an introduction to those watching this interview at home, can you please explain what it is you do for a living and any specifics your job entails?
Like you said, I'm the executive artistic director at Hillbarn Theatre, so I both run the theater company from an operational standpoint, but also do all the creative stuff as far as like shows, picking shows, helping kind of bridge the two, artistic and business, together. I'm also, we have a conservatory where we educate young children, and we um, just kind of perform shows and do shows, about 6 shows a year and shows with our conservatory every year, so 12 a year. We also have programs that are out in our local schools to help those students in other schools have arts programs. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades, I guess. I would say, sure, yeah, sure. But it's kind of like both the business aspect and the artistic aspect that you would kind of generally expect with a theater company.
That's really cool. I don't think I meet many people that do kind of everything.
That's because they're smart and they don't do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's kind of crazy, but it's fun, right? You get to play and be
yeah.
in theater and create stories and tell stories and do all that kind of fun stuff and really engage the community on many levels.
So, thinking about where you are currently in your career, which is a lot of different things for you, I think.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite story or lesson you'd like to share about that whole journey to getting where you are?
Whew. I would say, yeah, one of the great stories that I kind of tell a lot of our students and things like that is don't pigeonhole yourself. I went into college as an actor, and I had an amazing professor in college, and I was making very unique decisions. And she's like, I think you should look at directing. I think you should look at maybe doing some of this or some of that, or maybe stage management or some of this. Um, and she's like, because the decisions you're making as an actor are not actor decisions; they are director decisions and big picture decisions. And she having that conversation and that mentor really helped kind of opened my eyes to a whole different world within theater, right? Because we're so usually when we're growing up, we're so focused on like, I want to be in front, I want to be on stage, I want to be in the lights, I want to be all these, right? And there's so many facets of this world, of the theater world that not a lot of people know about. I mean, it takes a whole village, to put one show together. And so that was probably my favorite story that kind of helped shape me being just open to everything that came down the pipeline for me. And so, yeah, that's kind of one of the big lessons, I guess, that I would share with everybody is like, don't
Yeah.
be afraid to try stuff. You're like, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, give it a shot.
Yeah, I know I'm wanting to try directing a show this summer, so
That's
that's the
awesome.
first time doing something on that side of the table, which will be cool.
Right. And I think by doing stuff like that and getting your hands kind of into it, you learn differently than being in front, right in front of on the stage in front of people. By being behind the table, um, it's a very different learning experience, and you kind of open up um, different parts of your brain that allow you to kind of think critically and diagnose and shift how you communicate with people and how you're going to tell the story from a different perspective. And so I think that's really cool. I think it's really awesome that you're going to try and do that.
Yeah. So it sounds like so then did you get into acting first for theater and then from there
100%.
kind of then go into the act directing?
Yeah, so I started out as an actor, clown. Just loved making people laugh, and that was my jam, and I was all about it. And then did some singing, and then I went to college and started doing that, and got involved in the craft of theater, and realized that the decisions I was making, like I said, were more larger picture than individual focused. And so I kind of shifted. Um, I mean, I got very lucky and very fortunate that when I graduated college, I found a job that was based in theater. And so, I started, it's kind of a joke, but, they say the old saying is you start in the mailroom, and I started in the box office. That was my first job in the theater world. And I just started in the box office and just continually worked really hard. And
Yeah, I feel like you had the really nice, like perfect curve upwards journey.
oh, listen, this is just like social media. It's like everything's perfect, right? But like when you're in it, you're going, what have I done? Why? And you really sit there and you go, okay, that was an interesting decision. What did I'm always a huge proponent of, what did I learn from this? When I took this job or I got involved in this or whatever, there's something there, right? I wanted to learn something that's what drove me to make that decision. And so there was a lot of bumps and potholes and, cart falling over the edge. Like there was a lot of that. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's what makes you kind of learn and be better at what you're doing. Like nobody's perfect at anything, right?
Yeah.
And so you just have to learn. You go to these things and do these things and take these opportunities to learn. And if you can walk away from something and go, okay, wow, look, I learned boom, 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 boom. And I also learned that I don't like that, or I don't want, and so you start to kind of craft and hone what you're looking for or what you want, while you're on this journey of like, I wish to be involved in theater.
So clearly you're in this art form because you love it. Otherwise, who would choose such a crazy job to be in?
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
are there any specific things that you love about it?
I would say the primary thing that I love about theater is the people,
Yeah.
and the community. Right there's not a lot of places or communities like the theater world, and what I love most is that the theater is a place where everyone can belong. Right, because so much of our youth is spent trying to figure out who we are and who accepts us and what we're good at and all these kinds of things. And some people aren't good at sports and some people aren't good at, fill in the blank, but it's like anybody can be involved in theater. There is something there for everybody. Whether you like to just, if you like to draw, great, you can draw on, you can do props, you can do this, you can do that. I like to paint, but I don't want to be on stage. It's like, great, you can be a scenic artist. You can do, I mean, so it's like, and it's one of the main communities, I think, that is so welcoming to anybody that comes in. Like somebody can walk into a theater and go, "Hey, everybody, I'm new. Um, I just want to be involved. Like I'm good at this, or I really enjoy X, Y, or Z. Is there a place for me?" And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, "Yes, come on, right? Here, let's try out this. You want to help with this? You want to?" I mean, then of course the list is like, "I've got these 40 things. What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
But it's one of the great communities that I think is welcoming to everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely also one of the only communities that has like the ability to include everyone because other communities like the soccer team like physically can't include everyone, whereas it's really special that theater is able to include everyone.
Hmm.
So I guess you were talking a little bit about like that we're pushing forward to like go into the future on the right foot. So
Hmm.
do you have any like vision or hope for the future of theater or directing or acting or anything you want to talk about with
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I think that um, we're in the midst of a tremendous growth trajectory. A lot of communities, theaters, community theaters, professional theaters, whatever. And I think that we are going to be learning very quickly, together, and what we need to adjust, grow, be inclusive of, and really listen to what needs to be, how we should grow, right? Because I really think of things as, I was in a wonderful meeting, and a while back, some training, and the instructor said, not a single person in this meeting or this training is an expert, not even me, and I'm the host, right? We're all here together because we all realize that we have to learn and we have to grow and we have to do that together. And so by doing that, by being here, by understanding that nobody is perfect and nobody knows 100% of everything, we're all making a commitment to grow together. And I think that is the hope, at least for me, and I know a lot of colleagues in other theater companies, that we all feel that we need to grow together. I said it's kind of like a Lego, right? Everybody pretty much knows Legos, and we've got this beautiful Lego that's built that's called theater. And COVID and the world came in and broke it, and nobody has the instructions, right? We know that all the pieces are there to rebuild it. We know that we don't know all where they go or what it, we have an inkling of what worked and what didn't, but it's now time for all of us to rebuild it. And the only way to do that is to do it together, and we build it piece by piece, right? And so we're trying to build a better Lego, a better company, a better mindset, ideology, methodology to this community that has been around for, forever. Um, and so my hope is that we as a community continue to grow, listen, be mindful, make decisions that are in the best interest of everybody, and understand that when we do make decisions or we do try and do things, we're still learning, right? We're toddlers learning to walk. I mean, you represent the next great generation of theater workers, participants, whatever. Like, what do you hope for the community coming out, in the future?
Yeah, I think I agree with all of what you said. I really hope that we're able to keep being even more inclusive. And I think theater was something that really helped me through a lot in my life. And so I hope that we are still able to be open to anyone that needs that, whether that's through them being in the audience and being able to see like a representation of something they might be going through on stage and see that character like be able to get through it, and find hope in their own life, or whether that's through them being able to participate in the show, however that may be, and let that kind of be like a light in their life. I really hope that we're able to continue doing that and make it even more accessible, that even more people can experience that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the deep-seated hope for everybody.
Yeah.
The true nature of what this art form was intended to be is a place to tell stories, share experiences, pass down history, all of those things. Um, to look at it and to tell all stories, and know that when you sit in the theater, the story you're about to see was chosen for a reason,
Yeah.
right? And it's and for me, I always laugh about this because it's like I love the deep, dark, moody, like I'm feeling a lot shows and theater, and not a lot of people like that, but I like the conversation that happens after it,
Yeah.
right? Because when you're sitting there and the show ends and, oh gosh, that was so good, or I was struggling understanding blah blah blah, and you're talking to strangers around you, that's so profound and powerful that you can meet in one place for whether it's 90 minutes or a couple of hours, have a shared experience, and then realize that, oh, the person I'm next to, I may never see them again, but we shared this moment, right? Reacting to something that we saw, that actors, creatives, directors, whoever, tried to convey that message to us.
So with the connection, I think something really important for me is like to be able to have it in person, especially within the cast. The connection not in person can be really difficult. I've done a couple of virtual shows, and you can try to do kind of like cast bonding virtually, and it does kind of work, especially because it's a high school. We all know each other well enough.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with you being in community theater, um, if you have done any virtual work this past year, are there any like adjustments that you had to make?
Yeah, I mean, we do community engagement stuff. We haven't done any shows. We did a holiday concert, but that was filmed social distance in the space. So we haven't done any full-fledged shows. I've been honored and lucky enough to be a part of some online shows, and things like that. And luckily enough, I knew almost everybody within those, so it was a little bit easier. But it's interesting because, especially the high school level, that's such an interconnected part of who you are, and like your friends and hanging out and getting to know people and building that kind of like family, more or less, that you're going to do the show. And when you get to community and the professional level, you come in and like everybody comes in and sits down at a table, and within 2.5 hours or whatever it is of table reading, you start to create bonds very quickly, right? To your question, it's how do you do that in a virtual world? I don't know if you can, but I know that you can create connections and then follow up so that when the time does come that you can meet in person or hang out or whatever. Everyone right now, new people, we're all just kind of like pen pals, digital pen pals, right? I can see you on a Zoom, I can see you on a Skype, I can see you on a FaceTime, and we're connecting. But you're right, there's a different connection that occurs in person. And I think that, I applaud you and all the high school students so much, because you guys are having to bridge both worlds delicately, right? You have to be in person, you have to be on digital, and it's going from here to there. The skill set that I think you guys are unintentionally learning is very powerful, but at the same time, it's very challenging, and I am fully aware of that. So I applaud you for doing all that you're doing.
Especially now with schools, like sports have gone back.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I know my school is currently trying to get theater qualified as a sport so that we can film our show live, similar to what you guys did for your Christmas concert.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the fall, sports weren't back yet.
Mm-hmm.
Just the balance of trying to go, okay, today I'm in person, but then tomorrow I'm going to be on the digital world again. Yeah, I think the pen pal analogy, it really does feel kind of like pen pals.
Yeah. But you still want to make that connection, right? You're getting micro doses of gathering, where you can like, oh, hey, everybody, like, I'm still 6 feet apart from you, but like, hey, we're in the same space, kind of a thing. And so I think that's, it's super challenging. And I know, theater, like at the high school level, and the tri-school program is super important, right? And it's such a great, unique experience to bring the schools together and create lifelong friendships and experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're almost out of time. Is there any last words you have?
Thank you so much for asking me to do this and being here. It was great talking to you. I'm really excited for you and your journey of figuring out the directing side and whatever other side of theater you do. So you just keep trying all the things and follow the questions. And as a very, very good friend of mine said recently, chase your fear. Follow your fear, because that will lead you to things that you didn't know that you wanted to do. So.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Dan. It was really amazing to learn about your career. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for tuning in to Opening the Curtain, Artists in Conversation with Students, a collaboration between TheatreWorks Silicon Valley and Palo Alto Unified School District as part of the Kennedy Center Partners in Education program. We will continue to explore different careers available in the performing arts throughout the school year. Please join us for the next set of videos in the series at the end of each month at theatreworks.org.